Lieben, Glauben, Globen.
Hello, this is called Creepypasta. Today we're going to be doing our Q&A that has been up about the Facebook for about a week now. So let's just jump right into this, unscripted, and have some fun. Let's see. First is from Miss Creepypasta, who asks, "What do you particularly like about Creepypasta?" Well, what I particularly like about Creepypasta is the fact that usually Creepypastas are just really well-written stories. And I really like how in-depth some of them get. I mean, of course, they're like the troll pastas, the ones written by like 5-year-olds, but the good ones, like, let me name off a few, like Tall, Thin, and Faceless, and Jeff the Killer sequels. Wasn't much a fan of the first one. And all that sort of stuff, but some of those stories are just really good and they're really interesting, even if you're not really into horror. And second of all, they're just so personal. I mean, I could sit all the way through Lord of the Rings and not go upstairs and be afraid that a goblin's going to jump out of the corner and attack me, you know? However, after I read, I don't know, I think it's like the, what was that one called? But there's a story where I narrated it, so I probably should know it, but there's this one where it's basically like, yeah, something's watching you right now, and they'll look behind you. And I know when I first read that, I mean, I just bolted around. I'm like, oh god, what's behind me? And I mean, of course there wasn't, but to get a story that can evoke that kind of stuff out of you, I think that's really impressive, and that's why I really like them, and just the allure of how a story can do that to you. Alright, we're going to move on here to Creepy Noodle Crew, aka Flair, with asking, do you live on the sun? Costa lives on the moon, I live on Neptune, Custom lives on Earth, so it would make more sense. Yes, this is true, I do live on the sun. You know, there's an ocean right under all that fire and stuff, so that's where I reside. What if you're OTP? Well, that sounded intelligent. Dash, or whatever, I have to ask everyone. I don't really have an OTP. I mean, OTPs are really silly, and I feel like that's the only appeal to them, but apparently there are a lot of people who take it seriously and like fan art it up. I mean, that's within our group, but I don't really take OTP seriously in our group or any of my friends. I mean, that's just... I mean, I think it's hilarious when people get paired together that really have no interest in each other, but... As for OTP in just general, I'm gonna have to go with Narasaku. Yeah, judge me. Alright, do you get crazy feels when you see your OTP talking with one another? Oh yes, I get major crazy feels up in there, man. Okay, Creep Miss Pasta. You, sir, are amazing. Thank you. What's your favorite creepypasta? My favorite creepypasta is by far Tall, Thin, and Faceless. Because with Tall, Thin, and Faceless, it's just a very well-written creepypasta in my mind. And it's very, even if you're not a parent, it's very relatable. And you can just feel this guy's emotions. And that's what made it easy. I mean, if you want to go back and watch my Tall, Thin, and Faceless, if you haven't already, it is just, I can just spin off those emotions as easy as riding a bike or riding. I mean, just... the way it was written and the emotions it evokes, it's just so easy to just jump right in and start narrating like you were the actual person. And I think those are the kind of stories that need to be put out there and more people should write. Okay. The Doomsday Anatomy asks, what is/was the most successful hobby you took up? As in, hobby you decided to do with the most successful outcome. This one always gets me. I'm never good at answering, what's your hobby? What do you do for fun? And this is basically what I do for fun. I mean, I'm a big video game fan, but that's never gotten me anywhere, so that's not really successful. I like to draw, that hasn't got me anywhere successful. But I think successfulness is like, a lot of people think it's just like money making and that sort of stuff, but I think the most successful hobby is definitely narrating, because where other people think of successful as like money and stuff, I think successful is just what gives you the most joy. And I think narrating kind of drags on after a while, I'm not gonna lie. But it's so worth it. Everything is so worth it. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a part of the Creepypasta crew, and it is just the most fortunate group to be in if you're into narrating. I mean, we're all very, very nice people, and we're like the best people around. And it's really hard to go 5 minutes without a good laugh. It is a blessing to be a part of them. And I think that's why it's most successful, because it really makes me the happiest doing this, and it makes me happiest getting to know these guys. Okay, these next 20 are from Custom Creepypasta, who, when I asked to take part in my Q&A, decided to spam me, which I may or may not have told him to. I don't really remember, but spamming is what ultimately happened. So, be prepared. Custom Creepypasta asks, oral or anal? Gonna have to go with oral, because I'm guessing this is a receiving thing, and I'd rather receive oral than anal because, well, I play for one team, and that happens to be the straightest one of them all. If held against your will, what kind of porno would you star in? The one that would be with my girlfriend and would accidentally end up on the internet, because at least I wouldn't be doing it with a stranger, and I'd be doing it with the woman I love. COCP x CCP. Sure, why not? Just a one-night stand, though. That's all I'm gonna tolerate. Will you fap on my live stream? I don't really have a webcam, so, I mean, if you can listen to the noise of it happening, at best. Did you know I beat Slender 7th Street last night? Yeah, I actually, watched the YouTube of that, so, yes, I did. Can you, Rasta, and I have a threesome? If you videotape, sure, why not? Is your girlfriend's name Jill? No, my girlfriend's name is Megan, and she is the best woman on earth, and we've been together for about a year, and I'm really just living the dream with her, so it's really nice. Is your girlfriend your hand? No, I just kind of explained that, who my girlfriend was, and I wish she was around more like my hand is. Do you want the CCPD? Depends. How long is it? Do you know you're beautiful? I'm not really beautiful, so to say. I'm kind of average. I'm a little bit on the good side, I guess, from what I've been told, but I guess I'm beautiful. Do you think my persona has a huge dick? Not huge, but slender. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. Would you love me to rape your face? Not a fan of rape. Sorry. Gonna have to side against that one. Would I crack my knuckles? Do you get a boner? No. I've never heard you crack your knuckles, so I don't really know. You know, you can try sometime. Is Rasta a girl?
I sure hope so.
Okay, finally we get off of Custom Creepypasta, and we move on to my good friend, Carol Carnage. What is your favorite horror movie and or scary game? Horror movie? I'm gonna say my favorite horror series is Aliens, definitely. I guess that'd be Aliens, just that movie then, because that's my favorite out of that series. And as for scary game, Resident Evil Outbreak would be the one, because that one just freaked me out. Okay, who is your favorite creepypasta character? As in Jeff the Killer, Slenderman, Ben Drowned, and why is she your favorite? Or he? I'm gonna have to go with Slenderman, because Slenderman freaks me out. On a very, very personal level. And I'm not gonna go much into that, but yeah, he just freaks me out, so he happens to be my favorite because creepypastas are meant to creep people out, and it did a very successful job of doing that. Okay. Do you think Jeff the Killer stories should be made into a movie or even a series of episodes? I'm going to have to say that Jeff the Killer should be made into a series of episodes and not a movie. And let me explain why. Because usually with movies, people are... this is just a generalization, but a lot of people who remake stuff or make stuff into movies, a lot of people really don't take a lot of care anymore nowadays. And they just kind of spout out movies because it'll make money. But I feel that with... definitely with an actual episode series, that they would take a lot more care into it, you know? Because I don't know about you guys, but like American Horror Story and The Walking Dead are very, very good at just putting a lot of heart and soul into their episodes and just spitting out the show the way it should be, as opposed to what would make us the most money. And I feel like they would skip out on a lot of Jeff's tendencies and a lot of things that would make him special, or even cast him wrong, which would be a very, very bad idea. But yeah, I think that with any creepypasta character, if it were going to hit any sort of screen, it should be the home screen, because I feel like they would take a lot more care of it if it was an episodic show. Okay, what would you do if you saw Slenderman staring at you through your window? I wouldn't even be in my room anymore. I would be out of the house running for my life. Actually, I had a dream about that once. Odd that you ask. If you read / or listened to the Holder series, you can answer this. I've read a few. Out of the Holder items that you can have, which would you get? I don't know what it's called or what number it is, but I want the sword that can tear apart everything. I mean, if you read it, it's a really easy challenge. And just imagine having the equivalent of a lightsaber. Just run around places, cutting down trees, cutting people's cars in half. You know how awesome that would be? Okay, hurry. Jeff the Killer's looking at you from the other side of the room. What do you do? GTFO, MFR. If you could make any creepypasta monster come to life and ask he, she, 3 questions, who / what would it be, and what questions would you ask it? See, this one always throws me into a loop, because, you know what? I really have no effing desire to meet anybody who is in a creepypasta, or any of the creepypasta characters. I mean, why? Half of them are murderers, killers, or things that just generally want to screw up your life. Why on earth would I want to be in the same vicinity as them, much less talk to them? But I guess if you want to be honest about it, let me see here. I guess I'd have to pick Mr. Angel, just so I could ask about death and stuff. Because maybe he wouldn't kill me, because he's kind of neutral. Okay, what is better, vampires, zombies, or werewolves? Yes, I know Twilight ruined vampires and werewolves, but I'm still talking about the hardcore tear you to shreds kind of type. This one always gets me. Because they've all been ruined recently. I mean, Twilight just took vampires and werewolves and turned into... Oh, I love you, Bella. Please. Please love me. No, love me. Please love me. Look at me. I sparkle. Look at me. I can run around shirtless. And zombies have not so much been ruined by pulp culture and movies, but just by people. People seem to think that zombies are no big deal and just, oh, I would love a zombie apocalypse to happen. No, you wouldn't. The same source material that they watch to get interested in zombies shows the carnage of how much a zombie apocalypse would truly destroy everybody and the world, but they still think they can handle it. And it really irritates me. That's like a pet peeve for me. So, this one's hard for me, because recently these have all been in bad limelight. I'm going to have to go... Let's just pick Vampire, because Blade's really cool. Okay, have you ever played The Rake the Asylum? No, but I have played Eerie, which I think is about the Rake. And it's a really good indie game, so you should check that out. What is your name? If you can't say it, say something that at least rhymes with it. Rothulu. Do you like Mudkips? Of course I like Mudkips. Matter of fact, the last Pokemon game I played, I was Ruby, and he was my starter. So yeah, I really do like Mudkips. If Slenderman and Medusa faced off, who would win? Obviously Slenderman, because he has no eyes to see Medusa, so he could just beat the crap out of her. Okay. These next, like, 20 are also from Joseph Barlow. Party. Yes, I would like to party. How do you feel now that I have indirectly kissed you? Pretty hot. FMK, me, Slenderman, and the Rake. None of the above. Let's just move on. Want a duel? Sure. Dr. Pepper or Coke? Dr. Pepper. Why do you fake all your orgasms? I don't think I've ever... Yeah, I've faked orgasms before. But I don't think you've ever witnessed me do it, so that kind of confuses me. Sakura sucks. It's not really a question. Hard or soft nipples? Kind of a fan of both. Light or L? I'm gonna have to go with L. Sorry, he was the one that was right in that whole series. How tight are you? I hope I'm tight. How should I wear my hair? You should swoosh it. Why doesn't your dad have hair? Because he's balding, because he's old. How did my right ball look? Lumpy. Might want to get that checked out. Boxers or briefs? I'm a briefs man. Judge me. Is Slenderman into tentacle porn? I wouldn't know. You can go meet him and find out and get back to me on that. Do you have all your intestines? Actually, I really don't. I had a surgery a really long time ago when I was 10 years old where my appendix like burst and it went all over my intestines, so it formed scar tissue around it to protect it because my parents didn't take me to the hospital for like 2 months. And when they went to take out the appendix, they had to take out a lot of my large intestines as well. So, no, I don't have all of my intestines. Spit or swallow? Spit, because why would you want that in your mouth? Let's see. Max Gruber. How did you get into creepypastas, and when did you decide to narrate them? Also, what was the first creepypasta you ever heard? How did I get into creepypastas? Well, you see, in my friends group in real life, they got really into creepypastas. I, of course, kind of looked at them really stupid because I had no idea what they were talking about. But I actually checked that out, and the first video I think I ever watched was... I had to think back on that one. That's a hard one. I think it may have been Jeff the Killer. I'm not sure. But the thing is that it was basically my best friends that got into creepypasta. So I got into creepypasta just because they were. And I ended up surpassing them by how much I liked it, like a lot. Like they were just like completely blown out of the water because I would always talk about it all the time. And I was always reading new ones here and there, and I would make references they wouldn't understand. When did I decide to narrate them? I decided to narrate them because I saw MCP obviously did a lot of narrations. But I always felt like he was just the main guy there and there was no room for any other narrators. But then I met a custom creepypasta, and he... Back when I met him, he didn't have a lot of subscribers, and he still did it just because he loved doing it, and that really inspired me into going, hey, if he really loves doing that and doing that too, maybe I can, because I've always had this part of me that's wanted to be an act or voice act, just something to get my acting out of me, and there was no way to channel that at all for the longest time, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to just act and finally get out some of that love for creepypastas at the same time. So, thank you, Custom Creepypasta, for making this all possible. Okay, these next two are from Creepy Rasta, and we'll wrap this up. Creepy Rasta, I love you. I love you too, Rasta. More than you'll ever know. Okay, Flare X Rasta, is this the best ship? Yes, I could write fan fiction on this for days. I mean, you saw what I could do just with off the top of my head. I mean, I could just spew out entire stories about Flare X Rasta. But let's try to work on COCPX Rasta next time, okay? Alright, that was my Q&A, and it was a lot of fun. And I hope you guys hopefully learned a little bit more about me, as well as learned about some unnecessary questions. Be sure to go check out our Facebook page. The link is always in the description. Be sure to go over to my channel and read all our videos. Subscribe, like, favorite, comment. Just do everything because it really helps. And it makes my day when I come home and I have more subscribers. Just saying. So thank you for you guys who've been subscribing lately. Also, another thing you might want to be interested in is there will be a live stream on Twitch TV. Custom Creepypasta holds it every 5 p.m. and it's basically just a narrator fest of the Creepypasta crew. And it's a really big thing, and I think you all should go check it out because we're all good narrators over there, and it's really fun to just sit around and hang out for a while because I love hanging out with you guys who watch my videos. I mean, you guys really make my life, and it is amazing. Thank you for making all this possible. Thank you for making it possible to have a Q&A. Well, love and squid kisses from your favorite, Call It Creepypasta.